Supporting local businesses in Hawaii shouldn't be complicated, but with big brands everywhere and most visitors short on time, it's easy to miss the businesses that actually keep Hawaii and its community going. Today, I'm going to give you 9 simple ways that you can support local even if you're not in Hawaii. And today, you'll hear directly from a few of these local businesses and learn the ways that we all can support local Hawaii this holiday season. Welcome to Hawaii's Best Podcast, helping you plan an unforgettable trip to Hawaii and bringing you local businesses and local culture from the people who live in Hawaii. I'm just so honored to share with you a few of these stories. Some of these voices you may have already heard on the podcast. I guarantee you a lot of these companies you probably have already heard of, and maybe you're not sure or haven't heard their story. Over the years of doing Hawaii's Best, I've been podcasting for almost 7 years now. I've had the chance to sit down with some incredible local business owners and artists and people who have put their heart and soul into what they do. And with the holidays coming up, tomorrow being Thanksgiving, and this felt like the right time to bring some of these voices back together. You're going to hear short clips from past episodes. You're going to hear the stories, advice for visitors, and how you can support what they do in Hawaii, even if you're not visiting Hawaii anytime soon. So whether you're planning a trip or just love Hawaii, this episode is definitely for you. Before I forget, I just want to invite you to go ahead and hit follow on your podcast app. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, hit follow because I have some upcoming episodes that I'm really excited about to share with you starting next week. So go ahead and hit follow. But today we're going to kick things off on Maui with a small shop that's been part of the community for years. This is Ellie from Tutu's Pantry, and she's sharing how her love of food, family, community, and Maui turned into a place visitors come back again and again.
So started in June 2009. I wasn't born here, but I've been here since 1995, always in Kihei, always in Maui. And this is my home. I absolutely love this island with my whole heart. So I've developed quite a bit of a community here. So when I started Tutu's Pantry, I wanted to start something that would just really give back to the special community that I have here. It all started from a girlfriend of mine asking, if you would open a little business, what would you do? And without hesitation, and also without any prior experience, I said, I would open a little shop that had jams and spices, local flavors of our region. She, looked at me and said, wow, that sounds like a pretty good idea. I drew a bit of a quick concept, and the soul of it, I always saw my grandparents had a pasta factory in Argentina growing up. So that was the soul of it. It was, the grandma's pantry, all the yummy spices, seasonings that grandma had, and cookies and treats, because she was really great at that, always having like something delicious for the grandchildren.
Right.
So that's where the name came, Tutu's Pantry, which is, in Hawaiian, Tutu, grandma. That's how it all started.
I think you can really hear how much Ellie cares about her community and the people who walk through her doors. She also has a simple way of explaining what it means to be a responsible visitor when you come to visit Maui.
If I would have to embody a responsible tourist, so when I go into a place that I enjoy, that I want to go back to, I think that it's important to leave my money in the small community, because that's what adds the charm to the place. It's not the big box stores or the restaurant chains. It's really where the soul of the place is. It's within, the small producers, the small restaurants, small stores, etc. So I think responsible tourism is to visit these places and make an effort to shop more at those places than with the big chains, because you can find those big chains anywhere, but really the memories are made with these unique smaller places that you won't find back home.
So if you're planning a trip and you want your money to actually stay in the community, Tutu's Pantry is a great example of where to start. And here's how you can connect with Ellie and support what she's doing.
Yeah, you can follow us on social media. We mostly post on Instagram. We're more active on Instagram and a little bit on Facebook. Tutu's Pantry on Instagram. And for purchasing, tutuspantry.com. Our website has about 600 local products and we ship anywhere.
Tutu's Pantry is such a great picture of how one small shop can support a whole web of local makers and artisans. Our next story keeps the same theme of family and creativity, but this time in the world of modern aloha wear. I'm going to introduce you to Alexis from Lexbreezy. Lexbreezy is a second-generation aloha wear brand that grew out of a mother-daughter story and a lot of hard work. Alexis took what her mom built and created something that speaks to a new generation, but I'm going to let her explain that in her own words.
My name is Alexis Akiona. I am Lola Miller's daughter. So I am the owner of Lexbreezy Hawaii. We are a modern aloha wear company, second generation. I followed into fashion after watching my mom, Simply Sisters, find her footsteps in Hawaii fashion. So I really had the idea of, I love what my mom is doing, but I want to create something of my own. So I was able to, follow her footsteps, but create a brand that really speaks to my generation in aloha wear. So taking her styles and her prints and making it a little bit more modern and fun and, a little bit more sexy. So that's kind of what the playoff of Lexbreezy is. So we still work together. We're, getting ready for the Made in Hawaii Festival. My first Made in Hawaii Festival actually was with my mom, and it was actually at her booth. So we always do the Made in Hawaii Festival together. We work with local artists to design our prints, and we make very exclusive styles and one-of-a-kind designs. We never reprint any of our prints. We have 2 storefronts, one in Kailua and one in Ala Moana. And then my mom has actually her business based out of Hilo. So she has a storefront in Hilo.
Oh, okay. Alexis isn't just designing clothes. She's thinking about the people and families behind every piece that is created. And she has some really down-to-earth thoughts, I think, on what it means to support Made in Hawaii in a real way.
Supporting local for me is not worrying about the price tag and really look at what is in the label. Who's making your products? Where is it being made? Who are you supporting behind it? What families? And Keiki, I feel like, is being supportive. And, we started out as a small business and now I have 2 sons. So it's like, what's behind the label when you support Made in Hawaii? Who are you supporting? And, not only are you supporting families like our family, you're also supporting the families that we support and the community that is around us as well. So I think that's just what's so special about supporting Made in Hawaii. You know who's making your products. You know what's in the label pretty much.
Nothing against ABC stores, but a lot of people who visit Hawaii, and this podcast is for people who are visiting Hawaii and helping with education and bringing amazing voices like yourself to the audience. But going to like an ABC store, there might be some, you got to kind of sift through. There might be some local products there, but by and large, probably not. So how can someone seek out and support local, maybe specifically why they're on their trip?
Maybe it's not about supporting maybe everything that's made here, but what about things, maybe people that are raised here, maybe they're not, that have still their connection with Hawaii, I think is super important.
So if this is the type of business that you want to support on your trip, or even while you're shopping online, here's where you can find Lexbreezy and her family's brands.
You can find us online at lexbreezyhawaii.com, and you can find Simply Sisters at lolamillerdesigns.com. We also have a storefront in Ala Moana, Target Wing, 2nd floor Mauka, and we also have a storefront in Kailua Town.
All right. So from fashion to fine art and so many ways that we who aren't in Hawaii can support these local businesses. And our next feature goes back to the island of Maui, and it's a Maui-based artist whose love for surfing and the island shows up in every piece he creates. My buddy, my friend, Patrick Parker. Patrick grew up surfing in California with a picture of Hawaii in his mind long before he moved there. Now he lives in upcountry Maui, painting and creating work that's completely inspired by his love of ocean. Here's Patrick sharing a little bit about his journey.
I grew up in Los Angeles area near the beach, and I've always been a surfer since I was like 9 years old. So I've always had a love affair with Hawaii since about that age, because when you learn about surfing, you learn about Hawaii, and that's the roots of surfing. And so as you grow up as a surfer, you get this fantasy of like this tropical island in the middle of the Pacific, and it has great waves. It's beautiful. It's warm. There's amazing beaches. It's just beautiful. And then as I grew up and I became an artist, the two combined, where I was painting and collaging and doing surf art. So I think naturally for me, it was an easy like way to immerse myself in my inspiration was to move to Hawaii. I did that about 11 years ago. And it was the greatest move of my life. I don't think I'll ever want to leave Hawaii, live anywhere else.
It's cool how you can feel how rooted he is in the islands now. And because he both lives on Maui and remembers what it's like to visit, he has a helpful reminder for anyone traveling to Hawaii.
The more respectful you are anywhere you travel, you'll feel good. They'll want to meet you. And when you're living here, now that I've been here long enough, when you do experience someone and you meet them and they have that same kind of mana, that same kind of energy, like, oh, I'm just so grateful to be here. It makes the experience so much better for both people. You know, if you're coming just to take, oh, I only have a few days. I want to hit this swell. I want to get the most waves. Or I'm sponsored. I deserve these waves. There's someone taking photographs of me. I want to get the best barrel. And so I can further my career. That's going to backfire very quickly here.
And if you want to check out Patrick's work, I actually shared a story a couple days ago about a piece that I just bought from him. And I think it's my fourth piece. So I really love his work, and you can learn more about him here.
If anyone wants to contact me through my website at patrickparkerart.com. I live up in upcountry. It's up Kula on Haleakala. I live at I have this amazing view. It's like 3,000 feet. So inspiring. Look out the window right now. I can see it. I can see like 4 different islands. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
If you're in town and you want to check out my home studio, I have a bunch of art here, all different kinds, more than just what's on the website. And I'd be welcome to meet you. There's also another way to contact me is on Instagram at Patrick Parker Art. I have a lot of work on there. Pretty consistent with posting new stuff.
Patrick's art creates a lot of what people love about Maui. And our next story is about a place visitors line up for every single day. I'm talking about none other than Ululani's Hawaiian shave ice and all the care that goes into something that seems so simple on the surface. Ululani's Hawaiian shave ice is one of those spots that people plan their whole afternoons around. But behind the long lines and colorful shave ice, there's a real focus on quality and a lot of heart for Maui. This was a part of a special series that I did a couple years ago that was in response to the tragic fires in Lahaina. And you can hear some of that in David's voice, who is the owner of Ululani's. But I'll let him explain a little bit more about how it all started.
What sets us apart, our shave ice is extremely fine, like Waiola's shave ice on Oahu. But we make our own ice and we use ultra purified water. And when I say ultra purified, it's water that went through the reverse osmosis process. Then we put an ultraviolet blast to that to make sure that 99.999% of all bacteria and things that shouldn't be in the water is removed. And then we make our own. So our process is different, regarding, I don't want to disclose any secrets on that side, but our syrup.
Yeah, no worries.
Our syrups are also different in the sense that, again, we make our own syrups. We make it with pure cane sugar. And this was at a time where everyone was using high fructose corn syrup. We were using fruit purees. We were using just premium ingredients, and everything was designed to our taste. So every flavor that we have was designed for our taste. Either we made it ourselves, and at the time we were making our own azuki beans, or at times we were making tapioca pearls in coconut milk. But right now we make our toasted coconut, we make our mochi, and all of those pieces are either premium or gourmet. We also use Maui's own Ululani ice cream, and their ice cream is a generational ice cream company, and the flavors and what they have is what fits us.
So it's not just about the treat, it's about doing things the right way, from the ingredients to the experience while ordering. And David also shared a really clear message for anyone thinking about visiting Maui right now.
Please go to Maui. We need you to go to Maui. There is one area in Lahaina. Lahaina is impacted, and we don't need anyone going over there to take selfies and photos of you being in the area that was impacted. But every other business needs you to go. Again, at our Townsend shops, when all of this happened, we were fine. Well, I'm saying at the time that they shut off tourism, but it has definitely been clarified that Maui is not shut off because Lahaina is the only section that is uninhabitable or that we don't want visitors to go to. But we have Haiku, we have Paia, we have Wailuku, we have Kahalui, we have Kihei, Hana. There's just a number of different areas of Maui, the beautiful parts of Maui that are there.
So if you're planning a trip and want to support businesses like Ululani's, there's an easy way to reach out.
They can go to our website. We have an email address on there, info@ululanishaveice.com. I'm one of the ones that receive all of those emails that come through. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to speak, on the behalf of our company, our employees, our community, as well as for sharing the depths of our feelings for those that were severely impacted by the tragedy that happened, and know that we are doing everything that we can to put those impacted in a better place.
If you go to their website, you'll probably notice that there's a lot more locations popping up, even across the continental U.S. So wherever you're at, you might be close to an Ululani's and maybe you don't even realize it. But businesses like Ululani's are a big part of what makes Maui feel like Maui. Over on Oahu, there's another spot that started small and grew into something a lot bigger than the original idea. Let's head over to the Sunrise Shack. The Sunrise Shack started as a tiny yellow stand across from Sunset Beach and grew into one of Oahu's most recognizable cafes. The original North Shore Shack has since closed. This was about a year ago, I think they closed it. But you can still find them in Waikiki, Ala Moana, across from Sharks Cove on the north shore of Oahu, and in Kailua Town. So here's Travis sharing how it all began.
We wanted to be at Pipeline because that's where all the action is. And then he just randomly sent me this little photo of this beat up little shack. And it was like a pretty ugly color. It's like between a blue and a green and another color. And it's like, it was almost blending into the bushes. He couldn't even, and he's like, what about this? I was like, oh, that's not what I was thinking. It's a trailer, like, like tow around, we could be mobile. And he's like, okay, well, just keep that, keep that in your thoughts. And so we couldn't find anything else. And then it was coming down to it, like, okay, let's just go for the shack. And luckily, him and his family knew the owners of the property. We all partnered up. We just started. We painted the whole thing yellow. We called it the Sunrise Shack because it's across from Sunset Beach. Sunset Beach is like right there where the sunrise, where like a morning experience, we rise to the sun. We have just those poured coffees to launch the whole concept. And that's kind of how we started. It was really small times at first. We were doing like $100 a day. And we also just thought we were just a pop-up for just that winter time because we get a huge flux of people here in the winter. For all the surf events. The waves are massive. It's just the time to be here if you're going to come to the North Shore. And that's what we had in mind. And so, yeah, it was really slow starts in the beginning.
It's such a classic North Shore story, a simple idea, a beat-up shack, all the things, a lot of persistence, the right ingredients. But Travis also had some thoughts for visitors, trying to figure out which island to choose and what makes each one different.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's hard to choose which island you're going to go to. I would say you should visit all the islands in your lifetime. Oahu is just a really good base, there's a lot of opportunities here. There's a lot more to do here. If like the kind of the shopping side or like going to see a nice movie or eating like at a good restaurant, like Oahu provides the most in that aspect. But where I'm from on Kauai is really amazing. They call it the Garden of Eden. It's literally like the best fruits you'll ever have in your life. Some of the like biggest like kale plants, and just like it's just like crazy what you can grow there. I think Maui's pretty similar. It's probably a little bit more commercial than Kauai. It's a bigger island too. Kauai is like the smallest main island. And the big island is just a wild place. It's like just all volcanic rock. It's kind of like, I think it's the closest thing to like visiting the moon on like planet Earth.
Yeah.
It's wild over there. So they're all very different. I mean, I think most people just come to Oahu. You can really experience nature here. You can experience nature on all the islands. Oahu probably has some of the most famous things here in Hawaii.
Wherever you end up, Oahu included, you'll see Sunrise Shack pop up as a place people love to stop. And here's where you can find them if you want to check them out while on island.
You can follow us on Instagram at Sunrise Shack. We also have like our new e-commerce store online, and that has some details about like our story. That's sunriseshackhawaii.com. That's where you can find us. If you're ever out here in Hawaii, we have the one in Waikiki and then the one here on the North Shore. And I think our future will be probably expanding here on Oahu.
Sunrise Shack is also opening up their first location outside of Hawaii. They're going to be opening up in Long Beach, California. So if you are on the West Coast and you happen to be in SoCal, you can find a Sunrise Shack coming near you, hopefully soon, and hopefully in other locations as well. So from coffee and smoothie bowls to tacos and fresh salsa, my favorite, our next stop is another Oahu favorite. This time we're heading to a family-run Mexican spot called Margaritas. Margaritas is a small local Mexican fusion restaurant on Oahu that grew out of real love for Mexican food. Here's how it all started.
Well, we've always really loved Mexican food. Like as kids, we've grown up with it. Besides Asian food, it was a lot of Mexican food, so we loved it.
Yeah, we're making our own guacamole from when we were little. Super simple guacamole from the avocado and everything. We always go out and eat Mexican food as well as a family, like almost at least once a week. So there's always been that passion for Mexican food.
At the start, our initial idea was just tacos and margaritas, keep it really simple, right?
Okay.
So when we got one of the chefs on board who went to culinary school, he's an expert at Mexican food. He actually just wanted to serve his own dishes, but he didn't want to serve out burritos, quesadillas, the very simple, basic type of things. There's no burrito here. What kind of Mexican place is this? What are you guys doing here? But a lot of our really intricate sauces have come from his recipes, and there was a lot of gain to be had with that as well.
Our salsa is like everyone says it's really, really good. It's all homemade from scratch. Our queso dip is it's all very fresh and got very good compliments from all of our customers and everything. And this all was developed like over time as well from the beginning of the restaurant. But the concept has been pretty much the same from the beginning. It's always been to have that healthy Mexican cuisine.
I think you can tell that they care about doing things their own way. Simple concept, but with a lot of attention to details. They also had some straightforward advice for visitors who want a more local experience on Oahu.
I would say don't stay in Waikiki. If you want more of an authentic Hawaii experience, I would stay in an Airbnb somewhere in the North Shore or something like that. Get a car so you can travel the island. You don't want to be in a trolley. I mean, unless you do. I'm speaking for myself. I don't know, You just want the freedom of being able to explore the island, go to different places. Right. So rent a car for a week or however long, and then hikes and beaches, they're everywhere.
So if you're the kind of traveler who wants to get out and see more of the island, that's a good place to start. And if you want to stop in for a meal while you're out exploring, here's how you can find Margaritas.
We've got Instagram. We're on Yelp, Google. Just type in Margaritas. We're the only one. It's very easy to find. It's right by Ala Moana if you're shopping around there.
Food is one way to connect with Hawaii. Another way is through the spaces you spend time in, your home, your hotel, or even the gifts you bring back. Our next feature brings Hawaiian design and storytelling into home decor. This is NoHo Home. NoHo Home is a native Hawaiian-owned home decor brand led by designer Jaylene Kanani. Her work is all about helping people feel connected to their space through Hawaiian-inspired design. Here's Jillian explaining the meaning behind the name and the heart of the brand.
So, NoHo home, and I'll start with NoHo, which in Olelo, Hawaii means, amongst other things, to dwell, and to reside, to sit with not a thought or a feeling. So that's the spirit of NoHo home or NoHo home, which is to feel connected and to dwell in your sacred spaces. And so NoHo home, we provide Hawaiian-inspired luxury home decor. We like to call it style with aloha. My mom was the first education coordinator for the Polynesian Voyaging Society.
Oh, cool.
And she was there through their voyages, their first voyages, in the time when Hawaii was really looking back to its roots, looking, to explore, our indigenous knowledge, specifically in this case, how to bring back traditional ways of navigation. So, that was an exciting period in Hawaii. And it was a great time for me to be at, the hip of my mother as she was doing this work in the community. She also went on to become the entrepreneur training specialist for Ululani, another community organization. And what she did was she specialized in teaching Native Hawaiians how to start their own businesses.
I think you get a sense pretty quickly that NoHo Home is about more than patterns on a pillow. Jillian also shared a powerful mindset shift for anyone traveling to Hawaii.
How do you as a traveler, first of all, moving from a tourist mindset to a traveler mindset and explorer, having that mindset of an explorer, that we're here to learn, explore, not balk, not see, not frolic, but we're here to explore with a sense of gratitude for the experience of being able to explore a new space and share, time and company with new people. And kilo. So the practice of kilo, which is constant observation over long periods of time to understand a concept, a person, our aina. So this practice of kilo, I think, is pretty critical. If we could share that with, our travelers, in that observation is key. It's the first step to understanding. So before you jump in and experience, observe.
And I think that explorer mindset she talks about is such a helpful filter for planning your trip. And if you want to bring some of her work home with you or support them online or about what she's building, here's where you can find NoHo Home.
So our website for all of our retail, residential product, NoHoHomeHawaii.com. And then we also, for those people who are in the business community and, want to partner with us, the architect and interior design community, they follow us on NoHoHomeContract.com. So that's where you can see all of the building blocks for custom and commercial products. We have an Instagram, and our handle is NoHo Home, NoHoHome, and that's across all of our platforms. You can find us on Macy's.com, Bloomingdale's.com, in No'eau Designers. Please, when you're in Hawaii, try to make a stop at No'eau Designers. It is filled with Native Hawaiian entrepreneurs and their mea, or their goods. And it is a wonderful place to shop. Homeworlds, if you're local, please visit your local Homeworld store. Bloomingdale's. So we are in Bloomingdale's, Ala Moana. And we also are in Martin MacArthur and Foodland with our giftables. So, those are definitely places that all of our visitors stop by when they're here. You can pick up some of our products there.
Design is definitely one way to see Hawaii differently. Another is through the lens of a local photographer, someone who spends a lot of time outdoors with families watching how they experience the islands. Our next feature is with photographer Heather Ainga from Little Bird Photography. Heather lives on the windward side of Oahu and spends a lot of time helping families experience that part of the island in a real relaxed way. Here she is talking about why this side of the island feels so special to her.
So I moved to Hawaii 24 years ago with my husband, and we always wanted to get to the windward side. We started off in town, and we would come over to the windward side because it always felt so magical. You come through the Pali, and you just see this beautiful landscape. You've got the steep mountains stretching down to, beautiful blue ocean. There's something about it that just feels really breathtaking. And it doesn't get old. I want to say, living here, the views are just stunning all the time. I always appreciate them. So it's a really wonderful place to call home. But because we now live on the windward side, I thought I might as well share my favorite part of the island with you. And I also think it's a unique spot to enjoy with families. The beaches here are more mellow than you get on the North Shore, less crowded than on the South Shore. West side also has very steep beaches with big waves. So it's kind of the ideal stretch to explore with family. It's really easily accessible. And the other thing is that it starts with, you have a lot of diversity along the coast. It starts with lava and it's very dramatic. And then you end with nice sandy calm beaches at the tip.
I really love how Heather describes the windward side. It's such a beautiful part of the island. And it's not just a pretty backdrop, but a place to slow down and explore. She also had one simple piece of advice she hopes that every visitor takes to heart.
Most important is to just get out of Waikiki, get out of your resort for at least one day and go explore and, see what the island has to offer.
So if you want some help capturing those memories while you're out exploring, here's how you can connect with Heather.
My website is hi, like Hawaii, like hello, H-I, hilittlebird.com, and it's Little Bird Photography.
And last but not least, probably one of my favorite interviews was with Chris Kamaka from Kamaka Ukulele. Now, I want to highlight this Hawaiian brand that's been part of the islands for over 100 years. Kamaka Ukulele is still family run. And if you spent any time around Hawaiian music, you've probably seen or heard one of their instruments. So here's Chris Kamaka sharing a bit of their family story and his role today.
Well, I'm the production manager at the factory. I'm a third generation.
Wow.
My grandfather started it back in 1916. My cousin Fred is the office manager now. But since when my grandfather passed, my dad took over. And then eventually my uncle Fred came and helped with the business. My grandfather actually started it in the garage, as a hobby.
Oh, wow.
Building more like the pineapple shape. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a shape that he designed. He was more interested in trying to experiment with sound. And it was a lot easier to bend rather than the traditional figure eight instrument.
Oh, I see. Especially fabricating in the garage.
Yeah.
It's probably easier to...
So he just made it for a lot of our aunts and uncles who were professional entertainers, and it grew from there. He opened his first factory on South King Street. Eventually, he had to move everything down to our farm on the west side, Ululani, because they were widening King Street at the time. So then my dad was away at school. He was studying to be an entomologist.
Okay.
He was working on his PhD.
Wow.
And he got the call that my grandfather was sick. So he came home, stopped everything, took care of dad for about a year until he passed, and decided, wow, what should I do with all of this equipment? And he went to the libraries and did a lot of research and eventually said, let's go for it. We'll try it. And it's ever since, we've moved to our original factory where we are now in 59. From there, the rest is history.
So when you pick up a Kamaka ukulele, you're holding more than just an instrument. You're holding a piece of that family story. I also asked Chris what he would want every first-time visitor to know before coming to Hawaii.
Well, I guess first-timers coming to the islands, Hawaii has always been about aloha, and opening up oneself or one's arms and greeting them, because we've always appreciated life and appreciated, just being able to share what we have, because, sometimes we take it for granted where we live, because, it's such a beautiful place. And hopefully we can portray that to those who do come, then they would appreciate it even more.
So if you love Hawaiian music, or you love just the process of building something, if you ever thought about picking up an ukulele, Kamaka is such a great way to support a long-standing local business that's still rooted in family and craft. Here's how you can connect with them, how you can visit them, or even shop online.
Well, Kamaka, we're at 550 South Street in Honolulu. Our website is kamakahawaii.com. Phone number 531-3165, area code 808.
Yeah.
And feel free to come into the shop. We'd love to show people what we're all about. As far as musically, we play at the Outrigger Reef Hotel in Waikiki every Saturday night.
I actually happened to catch Chris at the NAMM show in Anaheim, which was cool while he was in town. NAMM is an annual trade show. It's organized by the National Association of Music Merchants, and Kamaka was there as a vendor. And it was cool being able to go and have an interview with them and seeing their booth and all their new stuff and hearing amazing musicians play at their booth. So it was just such a cool experience. But I just want to say thank you again for spending some time with me today and listening to all of these stories, all these local businesses. Every one of them is so special. And it's a part of what makes Hawaii feel the way that it does. It's from the food, the art, the culture, the design, the conversations, the aloha. You feel it anytime you walk through a local business like one of these that we've talked about today. So if one of these businesses stood out to you, you can check the show notes below. I've linked every episode, every website, in every way that you can support them this holiday season. So whether you're planning a trip or you just want to show a little love from home, maybe if it's just following them on Instagram, as simple as that, showing some love, showing some aloha. So when you choose local in Hawaii, it really does go farther than you think. It supports families, keeps traditions alive, and helps these small businesses continue to share what they do best. So until next time, my friend, as always, live with aloha.
Mahalo for listening to this episode of Hawaii's Best. To stay up to date on future episodes, hit follow on your podcast app. Hawaii's Best is a production of Shorebreak Media Group with editing by Easy Podcast Solutions and music courtesy of our friends Stick Figure.